Welcome back to the grand finals of some professional StarCraft 2. A Terran player you'd expect to see in pretty much any grand finals in StarCraft 2. Of course, I give you the man, the myth, the Maru, up against the #1 Protoss player in the entire world. Not the Protoss that we deserve, but the one we need right now. The smiling assassin. It's herO. A best of 7 Terran versus Protoss battle. WardiTV's Korean Royale and the survivors of this auspicious tournament. Well, not the least bit surprising, but the most bit exciting. So if you enjoyed, make sure to check out Wardy. Thank you for putting this on. And like, subscribe for a long-winded but high-action series. Whenever these two meet, well, I have yet to see particularly many late games. They're both relatively aggressive and deadly to the vast majority of opponents. And this is a matchup that doesn't offer a lot of room for... Okay, it's not walled off, but oh my god, he got the Reaper. Was sending in some shades to be able to cover all his bases. So it not quite a Reaper wall, but just essentially a Reaper blockade. And the Adept manages to get it, because the Reaper, instead of being kind of boxed out, jumped up, expecting to be able to get through, but instead shut down by that first Adept. Well, Phoenix is the choice. He did see the Stargate with the Reaper. At the very least got that info. Literally split the difference. I'm not sure if herO even noticed, but the Widow Mines... the gatekeeper's there, not landing or latching onto the Phoenix. It manages to evade them. Maru with a third command center in his main. He's actually pulled entirely off of gas for a few moments here in order to maximize the minerals and get his production up. Kind of crazy, something you don't really see very much in this matchup. As those heavy gas units are usually prioritized, at least in the early game. He got what he wanted, though. He got a Cyclone. Now getting a tech lab on his starport. Got that third command center and another Rax on the way. Meanwhile, herO going up the tech tree quite quickly. He's got a robotics bay already. It's one gateway, one robo. It's essentially a 1-1-1 for Protoss. He's got a gate, robo, and Stargate. So, well, 2 gates there. And getting a robo bay already. So both players speeding up the tech tree, though herO with, oh my god, the Phoenix mating dance. It is, it's beautiful in its own way. They've decided to switch it up. Alright, they got tired. It happens. Trying to build up that energy. You don't want to be wasting it. Well. I like how he keeps switching it. Alright, like he keeps switching. Yeah, this is the most exciting thing. That third wheel out there. He keeps switching the patrol pathing. I don't know, whatever's most aesthetically pleasing to him. Anyways, third base is on the way. Colossus in production. Maru going with a double engineering bay back at home. And that means we're going to see an economic explosion. What you might call booming in other games. As both players focused a lot. herO keeps getting supply blocked. This is not the first time we saw a Phoenix not built. Oh my god. You know what? That's enough. That's enough interpretive dance commentary. Or maybe it's not enough and I should just continue. This is now a dance evaluation channel. As a amateur chair dancer myself, I feel qualified to speak on things. This is also the internet where anyone can feel qualified to speak on anything. So there's that to consider. Like and subscribe for more dance commentary. Raven is out. Everything else is in the production tab. +1/+1 Stum combat shield double reactor. 5 racks completed for Maru. And a reactor on his factory as well. Meaning we're likely going to see some Widowmots in the near future. Slapping down another reactor and a tech lab. So 3 tech labs on the racks. 2 reactors. Twilight Council and Forge back at home for herO. He's doubled his gateway count to 2. I expect we'll see an order of magnitude increase here with 6 to 8 more gates soon. Somehow, again, herO manages to evade any sort of Widow Mines and missile turrets, get in and kill 7 SCVs, and get out with all the Phoenixes intact. Which is quite surprising, considering how much effort Maru has put in to zoning out those Phoenixes. Them taking the most direct path seems to have been the best one. Maximum damage so far. Ooh, even some Widow Mine's gonna be picked up, and if he wasn't out of energy, he could get... Oh, no. Oh. Mine takes out one on the way home. Recall is used. Scan spawns 2 Colossi. And, of course, those Phoenixes back at home. Raven has enough energy for 2 interference matrices now. And the Bio Army has 1-1 completed. But with all that damage dealt, herO has ground out a solid worker lead. He's looking at 67 against 52. Maru, even with mules... Well, apparently mules are pretty good, keeping things about even. Just a couple finished mining out at the 3rd. Twilight Council, 5 more gateways, 1-1 on the way for herO. Maru try to maintain a forward position on the map in case herO decides to stick his neck out. He might be able to chop it off. Phoenix is still looking around for an opportunity, not finding any quite yet. Ooh, he gets the Raven. Loses a couple Phoenixes, bruises another. The Raven is by far the most important single unit in the army, with the ability to disable the entirety of it, or anti-armor missiles softening up a huge amount of units. The one thing we don't see is ghosts. No ghosts yet. Bio Army shows up a little before hero's in position. No cancel. And there's a few hundred more minerals down the drain. Widow Mine is there. Microing a Viking. The Phoenix is nowhere to be seen. Gonna come in, deal with this Viking. Or are they? Microing back. herO with his trademark select all army hotkey usage. Maru, well, that Widow Mine burrowed in position to deny the 4th. More Widow Mine's gonna soften things up. Eats a hit, moving forward. No detection with the army. Armory clearly done. A 2-2 on the way. Sacrifices a Zealot in order to do maximum damage. Force fields catch some of the Marauders. The rest are saved by the medevac. A 4th command center floating just uncaringly through the middle of this fight. There's not enough anti-air to actually really threaten it at the moment. A handful of sentries, a couple Phoenixes, and an Archon. The 4th command center finally begrudgingly acknowledges the existence of enemy units. And honestly, maybe a little late, almost dead, but will be repaired as it floats back towards the main. Meanwhile, that one Widow Mine still posing some real issues. It looks like another mine hit the Warp Prism on the way across. A trail of dangerous breadcrumbs has been put together. Maybe you're gonna try to drag the Widow Mines into the army? Yes, he softens it up and eats some of the shots directly. Well, Maru, unfortunately, has quite a concave here. The Vikings softening up many of the Colossi. Finally, that Widow Mine will be cleared up and another base will be taken. Maru clearly has that 4th command center heading the other direction as herO continuing to indignantly hold this high ground location, which means that Maru has to explore alternative options. herO's still not quite able to crack the defenses, though. Maru is quite literally the best at defending against this army. So, with those Widow Mines continuing, finally gets an observer into the army, and will make things a little bit easier. But now here comes Maru with a vengeance. He's got some ghosts. Lands the EMPs, but the Archon's mostly intact. The Vikings trying to take down the Colossi, but not doing it nearly quickly enough to stop herO's momentum. Couple more Widow Mines do what the ghosts could not. Taking out the Archons. Warp Prism is still intact. The most important part of this army, he needs reinforcements to be able to press through. Maru has already pulled SCVs off the line. That's how dangerous this attack was. But a few moments in order to regroup. Maru decides he doesn't need them quite as much. Still a whole lot of Protoss bearing down on him, though. herO has maintained this position. Maru one step away from disaster. We'll see if that step is too much or too little. I'm not sure. One or the other. The Warp Prism is such an important target. Will be taken out by the Vikings. The Colossus count may be too high. Burning through, trying to target some of the Marines here. Boys are pulled. Disruptors on the field. One more shows up as one is taken down. Maru still at a relatively high supply here for the situation. Third base undefended. 23 SCVs going to try to escape over to the fourth. There is a planetary fortress, which is a lot tougher to deal with. The SCVs are pulled. Disruptor targeted down just in time. Maru jumps on the only opportunity to fight this army. And he does so with great success, actually. Even a single Phoenix in there tries to lift up one of the ghosts, but only the Colossus is left over, and the Marauders will be able to knock it down with a vengeance. Maru somehow turns a 20-30 supply deficit into a lead, but it will only be maintained temporarily as he lost a whole bunch of SCVs. He didn't lose any command centers, though, which means he still has the same amount of mules, and he has an upgrade advantage, +2/+2. To just 1-1. He scans herO's northern base, realizes that an alternative fourth was taken, but herO ends up crumbling. The SCV flank drawing a lot of fire, some very important target fire, able to take down the disruptors before they obliterate huge chunks of the army. And suddenly herO is in an awkward scenario of having to rebuild some very expensive units, while relying on less upgrades on... Oh, okay, he finally finishes up 2-2. So, some mediocre upgrades for gateway units. We'll have to tide him over as Maru works his way to the other side of the map. Ghost in position. EMP evaporates most of the defenses. The War Prism just slides through the fight, somehow still alive, but the Terran army is so damn much. The Marauders just chunking through everything. The medevac count is too damn high, and herO looks like he grasps defeat from the jaws of victory as Maru runs him over. Just an absolute tide shift there. A table turn. Oh, it looked like herO had a precarious advantage as he went into the third. He had enough units, but he didn't have the upgrades, and he didn't really have much at home to fall back on. He overstayed his welcome just a bit too much, and Maru is anything but a gracious host. Oh, it really looked like herO could have closed it out there at several points, but Maru was dangerous when cornered. God, and then he just bounced back so hard. You really can't lose that critical mass of splash damage against a Terran like Maru. A less than happy game one for herO. But that's why we play somewhat longer series. Best of 7. Alright. Jimmy, please. Game 2. Dragon Scales. Maru showing why he demands respect. I'm not surprised herO was so cautious in moving forward, but maybe a bit too cautious. A Mecha Rex, a hidden barracks intended almost entirely to surprise herO if he scouts. herO not actually scouting particularly early, so it will fall on deaf eyes. I thought that was clever. It's like he can't hear the strategy with his eyes. If only there was another word for that. Then I wouldn't use it because it's not near. You know what I meant, all right? It made complete sense except for the literal the fact that it doesn't make any sense, but otherwise. Anyways, like and subscribe so I can learn words. Maru with the hidden racks. herO has outplayed him by simply not scouting at all. Don't try this one at home. The first Reaper will show up marginally quicker than usual. Maybe not even, but herO does have a Reaper wall. And the first Adept being chronoed out. I thought the Stargate build definitely worked out for him. It was fine. It actually did a lot more than it probably should have, as Maru did not catch any of the Phoenixes until later on. I'm not sure if the Reaper can jump up that exact location. Like, where the Adept is sitting? I'm pretty sure it can't. but he just wanted to get close enough to get some hits off. Twilight Council halfway done for herO off that first pylon, though I don't believe the Reaper had enough vision to see it at that angle. Nope. Meanwhile, back at home, Maru has expanded on the high ground. Not taking any risks. He's got his 1-game lead. Still a long ways to go, though. Blink is the choice. I say it with that little bit of surprise as herO. It seems a little more rare nowadays. The Stargate has taken a lot of precedence, especially for herO. But Blink still a perfectly acceptable and common opener for keeping the pressure on in the early game. Wow. Maru. I don't think anything would have stopped him. That Hellion was driving through either way. Well, that's a full scout. Even if he doesn't kill any probes, Reaper comes in, ends up getting 1. But the Twilight Council. Well, Blink is, in case Maru didn't know before, well, he has all the information. Robotics facility is on the way. I believe that was scouted as well, knowing that he has the option for potentially a warp prism. It's going to be 4-gate Blink as well, which means aggression. 4-gate Blink is almost always followed by some sort of Blink in the main, some attempt to carve out damage relatively early on, as you've invested a significant amount in that early game production. Maru investing a bit in this Widowmine drop here. The second Widowmine was I was waiting for the shot, but the second Widowmine was taken out by the Stalkers barely in time. Two kills on... Wait. No, it never dropped out of the prism. He pulled it back in. It actually did take a few points of damage. I'm crazy. I missed it. All right, so that medevac still needs to be respected a bit. Maru looking for an opportunity, but there's a Stalker on patrol back at home. Blink is done, but Maru, with the Widowmine drop, successfully bought himself a few more seconds before the... Oh no, the mine manages to drop. He gets the medevac, but Maru, I don't even know if it's intentionally retargeting. Yeah, it just in and out of the assimilator. Adept's looking for an opportunity. Actually gunned down. He let him into the main and then, well, quarantined them so they could be murdered. Blink Stalker forward. Beautiful juggling there. Gets the tank with minimal damage, and now the Marines are out of position to save the bunker. Just going for the SCVs here. Working his way through, already doing some solid damage. herO manipulating those Blink Stalkers quite well. Now an auto turret at the back, though, getting an equal amount of damage. Blink Stalkers into the main. The number has grown significantly, and that is almost too many Stalkers to fight heads up. The siege tank, an incredibly important part of all this, just falls back. The starport itself is being targeted. Another auto turret finding a surprising amount of damage. A single Stalker at the front, but the starport dies. He's just killing the barracks. And without any barracks, without any production facilities, you can't build units. This shouldn't come as a shock, but rarely do we see quite this situation where Maru is down to a single barracks and a factory. He just doesn't have any units. A second tank tries to go forward as it's sieging up, blunked upon, and it's looking very much like herO will be able to run over Maru by just simply killing all of his buildings. In game 2, there's still that Raven at the back who's found so much damage. Tries to get the tank, successfully does so. Ghetto blinks back with the prism after blunking in with the blink. And a bunker trying to come together. 23 SCVs, more pulled from the natural. Bunker may finish, but there's almost no units left to put in it. Another barracks down. He's in the mineral line. There's just not enough units here. Just obliterating Maru's production. I don't think that's one shot's the tank. The War Prism is targeted down by the few Marines that survive. They hop into the bunker for another second or two of respite. But overall, Maru is just straight up dead. herO with a decisive execution in game 2. And he ties up the series 1-1. Well, If they're doing something weird, just go hecking kill them. As a great man once said, and herO just comes across the map and kills Maru. A little bit of fancy footwork on those Blink Stalkers. And Maru just didn't have nearly enough. A lot of the time we'll see a bunker in the main as well. But Maru a little greedy, not building the bunker in the main, and it cost him everything. So, not the most complicated build, but an effective one after Maru's early shenanigans. And that leaves us with a best of 5. All right, Jimmy. The people want more, I assume. Otherwise, why would they still be here watching the filler content like this? What do you mean it takes time to load up the game? Edit it out. What do you mean we don't do editing? Game 3. 1-1. herO with an interesting placement on his... okay. All right, everyone. Well, so herO has a 2-gate timing. Maru, he's going to accidentally scout Maru's proxy Rex that he wasn't even looking for. Why was the probe going backwards? Maru has to ask himself. So, oh, now what? So Maru's gonna have a proxy Rex Reaper up against herO, who has... This has to set off some alarm bells. I'm not even sure. Like, I've never quite seen this exact scenario, but Maru's gonna realize shenanigans are afoot. He quickly walls off his base. I don't know if he knows about the second gate. The Zealot is obviously spotted here. The Reaper is headed back home, I think anticipating exactly this. Yeah, Maru seems to know the game's afoot here. An Adept is being chronoed out. I have no idea where we go from here. Reaper sneaks back into his own main. Adept. Walled out at the last second, but an SCV stuck outside. Oh my god! What a save! Wow, some real fancy footwork there. Maru lowers the depot, slips into the bunker, dodges the shot, raises the depot, and gets out of the bunker, all before the Adept can do anything about it. Well, meanwhile, another SCV will be sacrificed upon the altar of scouting. Doesn't really get much he didn't already know, but I think very importantly, he didn't spot the command center. Actually, he spotted the command, but he didn't spot the nexus, importantly here. The Reapers will, though, as it's somewhat implied at this stage. He comes in, yeah, intentionally looking, well, specifically looking for that nexus, as not having one seem very odd. And he confirms indeed it does exist. Gonna try to jump up, but already 2 Adepts there ready to shut it down. Gets one of the Reapers immediately, the other one badly bruised, but unfortunately for herO, he's gonna spot the Stargate. And probably the most important part of all this. So Maru now has a good idea of what herO is up to, what he can do. Whereas herO, on the other hand, I mean, he knows Maru's bottled up on one base. He has Cyclones, but he doesn't know exactly the timing when the expansion is landing. He doesn't know exactly the timing Maru's going to want to attack. But yeah, this... Very interesting with both these players. The double cheese seems to have canceled itself out, as neither player able to get damage done. Now they're both very interested in scouting whether or not we're playing a relatively standard follow-up. But they both go back to their corners after some significant investment in scouting. And we're going to go to a relatively standard game. So... we land back at a standard macro style with the Robo and the Stargate for herO. We've got 3 Racks and a Raven on the way for Maru. I'm expecting Stim in just a few moments. He's got an engineering bay. The Phoenix is gonna get a bit of damage here. Anything is nice as long as those Phoenixes stay alive. Now we see Robotics Bay and another gate for herO. The gateway is still intact as a bit of a scout for herO. It could, I guess, be repowered at some point, though very unlikely. Maru, I assume, will at some point just walk over and take it out. Phoenixes are back to their mating dance. A reactored starport. Combat shield +1 triple threat coming together. Honestly, at this stage, besides that gateway, you wouldn't even be able to realize how dramatically this game started. herO looking to take his third after mining through the mineral wall. Honestly, mining through the mineral wall may very well give away what herO's intending to do to that scan. All right, Viking comes out, realizing that with a chrono-boosted robo... Oh my god. I don't know if he does this intentionally, but it feels like he keeps switching up the patrol path. Okay. Oh, herO. The proxy gate was taken out, some spylons being added on. Spotter pylons to watch for any sort of medevacs or Raven shenanigans. And now Maru, he's finishing the triple threat. He should be moving out. Now. I was really looking to look real smart there. Yeah, he finished, like, he has 2 medevacs, he has 111, or he has all 3 upgrades. He has a Raven. There's no reason not to move out. He has no third command center. Though he'll probably lay one down. Yeah, some tactical boys. I think he was just organizing everything, making sure it was all coming together. And now, with all of this, the strongest push he can really build at the quickest timing. 2 Colossi for herO. He's got quite a significant amount of Terran to defend against. That Raven looming as Maru's tank push solidifies. Some turrets in production. Ideally, herO jumps on this before all the tanks get entrenched. A hallucinated Colossus, though anything helps, scrambles 2 Colossi, but there's still 1 on the back line. Immortals trying to bash their way through. Raven gonna go down incidentally, but the tanks are still blasting apart the surviving units. The Immortal taken apart. There's no more anti-air left. As the Vikings fighting here, the shield battery overcharge keeps the Colossi intact. Maru lost all but 1 tank, but still even the turrets here are zoning out the Colossi. Vikings waste a few shots on the hallucinated Colossus, but everything but the Colossi was blasted to pieces. Oh my god. The reptile crate sneaking around, trying to get out of the way, somehow surviving throughout this devastating exchange. And it looks like Maru's push, especially that tank on the high ground, is really solidifying here. herO does not have a better army than he did before, and Maru has continued his march forward. Has tailored his reinforcements for dealing with exactly what's left over, aka more Vikings for the Colossi, and any Phoenixes that are rebuilt. A bit of an awkward situation on that mineral wall, and at this stage, herO's just trying to keep Maru from knocking on the door of his natural. But even behind this, Maru doesn't have a third command center, but of course his buildings can float over. I don't know where herO decides to try to break out, but those siege tanks are already in position. It's a very, very difficult scenario for herO to break out of. His best opportunity was that initial attack. I don't know if he's going to get another one, but he's going to try. Shield battery overcharge. War Prism on the front lines. Disruptors will fire, but a little late. Targeted down. Vikings knock down the Colossi. And Maru with a comfortable victory in Game 2. the double cheese cancel into Maru with just kind of a standard tank type. He put everything into it. He brought the SCVs. He made herO. I feel like herO jumped the gun a bit. Did not want Maru getting all those turrets and probably eventually bunkers set up. But he just didn't have the unit count to break out. Maru really abusing those siege tanks to great effect. And ends up putting himself in the lead. All right. We tried the cheeses. Let's see. We're going to get back to it. Or will we? And Gresvin. It's going to be game 4. Honestly, herO in a bit of a tough position. We'll see. Ooh. All right, Jimmy, please. Sending out a probe at the beginning of the game. herO, done with it. He tried not scouting. He tried cheesing himself. Now he tries just scouting at the beginning of the game. Well, he successfully confirms the barracks is indeed in Maru's main base, which narrows down the locations it could be. I don't know, it feels like herO is not particularly confident in a later game against Maru, which, you know, add him to the list. But so far, well, Maru has looked like the more comfortable player. Even getting spotted and essentially getting nothing done with the early barracks, he cleanly transitioned into that tank timing, which really came together before herO had enough to match it. It's not a good sign for the Korean Protoss, but oh no. Well, here we go again. A precariously placed pylon. Is it a Stargate? I think so. A proxy Stargate. Maru has not SCV scouted, so he has no real information on this until the Reaper comes across the map. And the Reaper's still looking for the probe, which tries to slip back in. The Reaper didn't actually quite spot it. Probe gets a bit of extra info. Now, what's it going to be out of this Stargate? Just an Oracle or something spicier, like a Void Ray? Factory's on the way, but there's not going to be remotely enough units to deal with this early aggression. A bunker at the front, the Reaper staying at home to defend, and its efforts will pay off as the first Zealot is intercepted. The Zealot's gonna turn around, but gonna get shot in the back by the Reaper. Adept comes up to protect it. Shading through. He already softened up some units. Unfortunately, the Reaper just marginally... Oh, target's down. That's literally... There are no Marines. There's literally no anti-air right now for Maru. So, the Oracle is going to come in completely uncontested. Maru is building a Hellion. Hellions not known for their ability to shoot up, mostly because they can't. So, this is going to be a lot of damage, only limited by how much energy herO has. Yeah, comes into the main. Adept going to find damage as well. Maru has not reacted. I mean, I guess he's just realized there's nothing to be done. Just... It gets its pound of flesh. Many pounds. 9 kills on the SCVs. A second Oracle coming in. I'm pretty sure he spotted the Widowmine. Will he actually sacrifice the first Oracle to get the damage? Oh my. Wow, they'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Especially when the wreckage damages so much. And actually, the Widowmine ends up doing more devastating damage to Maru than to herO. And he definitely spotted it. He uses it against Maru. But another Oracle runs out of energy. Meanwhile, the Reaper and the Hellion end up killing 5 probes. Is there another mine here? No. Another Oracle in production, but finally a Cyclone and a Viking for Maru. And herO on losing 5 probes back at home, it's not as great a situation as you might expect for someone who sent 2 oracles in, completely uncontested. Maru is still able to kind of recover economically and draw things even. He expects the SCVs to be completely vulnerable, retreats to the main, where he has enough to defend them against the oracles. The adepts were the factor he really couldn't account for. So Maru in damage control mode right now. It appears the proxy Stargate has paid off for herO. Viking tried to come in to get something back at home. Blink is on the way, as herO realizing this game won't end, at least right now, as Maru is able to minimize damage to some extent. For most players, they'd be considering a GG. Maru just sat there and took it. He knows that the Oracle runs out of energy, and he just let it kill SCVs until it tired itself out. And now it's not great for Maru, but it's far from over. Even herO, I think I don't know what that was. Well, I think I know what it was, but I don't know why it was, because what it was a mistake. Those adepts shade in, and he didn't cancel the shade. Maybe he was microing on the other side? There's no reason those adepts needed to die. He drew some friendly fire from the tank onto the Marines, but I seriously doubt that was the intent. Well, here come the Blink Stalkers, though. Still a precarious position for Maru, who doesn't have a bunker in the main, doesn't really have that many units in general. And there are 10 Stalkers ready to blink in. A single Widow Mine here. Let's see. Blinks in 1 Stalker, eats a hit, takes out the tank. The Oracle's burning through the survivors here. Gets the bunker and can start really going to work on the Marines. As once that bunker is down and the siege tank taken out, the Stalkers are just so cost effective. The blink continually being used to minimize the damage output. Of course, shields can come back. He does have the proxy pylon, even if it takes quite a while to warp in. SCV scouts. Still that Widow Mine. Oh, spots it just in time. Gonna be taken out by the Stalkers. And Maru struggling to consolidate his defenses. He does have a 3rd command center, though, which means if he survives these attacks, he may be in a good position to bounce back. The Stalkers tank on the high ground, adding a ton of damage. herO has a 3rd Nexus of his own. Getting blinks into the main. And only that single tank was there to contest him. This may end up being a recall here momentarily. Stalker's trying to take the hits. The tank, not quite in range, and finds his way to the edge of the base. May take it out. Oh, the Raven! But thankfully for Maru, herO doesn't target fire quite in time. Raven spotted by the Revelation, literally the only unit. Raven going to be repaired by those SCVs. Most valuable unit in the game still here. The Raven has so much utility, even just for dealing with those stasis wards and being a detector. But herO has transitioned into charge, about to complete, adding more gates. Maru's held on at home. What was that? What died? A medevac. But why? I don't know what was in the medevac. I think some Marines, maybe? It's very unfortunate. Oh, the Revelation may have caught it. Well, into the natural. Yeah, I think there were some Marines in there. That's really unfortunate for Maru, who was just starting to get his feet settled under him. So much so he felt confident sending things out. But here come the charge lots. No warp prism, but continually warping in. Eating a lot of the damage from the siege tank with the charge lots. Oracle gunned down, but the bunker is taken out. SCV's pulled. Raven is taken down by the continued production out of the proxy Stargate. And herO has never let Maru stabilize. He continued battering him. The Oracles undercutting the economy, the Blink Stalkers dismantling the defense, and the Charge Lots cutting through. And now the command center itself is under attack. Phoenix is able to lift up the tanks. There's one more that could be targeted. But Maru is taking critical damage, and herO ties things up. A bit of a ham-fisted attack there. Maru just absorbing the damage until, honestly, I think that medevac was a thin line for Maru between a desperate defense and grinding his way back into the game. If that medevac slips out and is able to do some sort of counterattack and drag any of Maru's attention away, well, that's the makings of a comeback there. But at the end of the day, herO on top of it, guns down the medevac and closes out the game, tying us up at 2-2, which leaves a best of 3 to determine who's going to be the champion of Wardy's Korean Royale. Place your bets. I think overall Maru is playing a little better, but herO showing that killer instinct. It is tough to play best of 7s as a Protoss, but herO so far pulling it off. Going into game 5. Jimmy, please. And we are guaranteed to get more games than almost any of the series I catch. Hopefully you enjoy this a bit of a longer experience. But so far, none of the games have been particularly lengthy. We'll see if that keeps up as we go into the largest map. Maybe not the largest overall, but the largest in the terms of the amount of space you can actually move. Almost the entire map is a playable area. Ancient Cistern. Pretty exhausting, despite how relatively short the games are thus far. Every game something a little different, especially from herO. We'll see what he comes up with this time. It's going to be another Zealot first play. Though Maru, for the first time in a bit, will scout with the SCV and see that Zealot. Though also sees the timing of the command center, or the Nexus, as well as the Cyber Core. The Zealot did not realize as the SCV mineral walked through it, and then only seconds later thinks about, wait a second. In a remarkable show of confidence and or ignorance, the SCV passes right through the Zealot and gets an exact timing. herO, once it's out of vision, turns around to try to avoid it being hunted down by the Reaper, but that killer instinct. The SCV put a geotag on him. All right, slapped it on his back as he teleported through him with that mineral walk. And the Reaper almost hunts it down. Though I'm sure the Reaper going for the main. Just on seeing, wow, Maru. On seeing the Zealot heads back, it realizes that herO is almost certainly not intent on aggression. Builds a second command center in the main. Gets in and spots the Robo. So, the Robo first is quite interesting. I have no idea where herO wants to go with it. It's either the safest possible option, just getting very early observer, or some sort of crazy Ruptor drop cheese. That Warp Prism makes me think we're trending in the second direction, as he certainly isn't building an observer here. Well, all right. Warp Prism for just gateway units. Classic Ruptor. Well, I'm still set on the Ruptor drop, but it's not going to be Ruptors. It's just a Warp Prism drop, just with a button. Like, he's got 2 Adepts and a Stalker. That's it. That's the entirety. I guess there's a Zealot out here he can pick up, and Warp Gate, of course, but. Does not seem like a particularly substantial force. Just 3-gate Robo. Just, that's it. That's the whole thing. Nothing else. Well, let's see how it goes. All right, 2 Adepts and a Stalker can kill SCVs pretty quickly. But the Prism... Oh, no. Well... You may have noticed the lack of confidence in this attack in my voice. But I didn't actually voice my concerns, because who knows, it might have done a ton of damage. Well, now I'm going to feel confident in saying that that was pretty dumb, and failed about as badly as it ever could have, with every unit, including the Prism, being lost for 4 SCV kills. I guess it could have been worse. He could have gotten 0 SCV kills. But that was by most metrics, an utter failure. And herO's going to follow it up by getting a 3rd, a couple more gates, and do it a charge lot all in. You might think the 3rd base prevents it from being all in. I would argue very much not. As he's not building probes, that 3rd base is a placeholder at best. Only 41 probes. Maru about to take the worker lead. herO's only mining off of 2 gas at the moment. Charge is not quite done yet. The Stalker's coming in. Just trying to feign some sort of blink aggression, I think. Before, yeah. And Maru is going to reposition somewhat towards the main. He's really showing that potential blink. And I think he's just going to try to slam the natural. While Maru's looking the other way. A single Marine spots all of this. A single Zealot at home. The probes are pulled, so this was all before charge was done. Otherwise, I think Maru would be building multiple bunkers at the natural. herO has masked this well and minimized the amount of defenses at the front. If he can continue to do so, he's warped in a huge amount of Zealots. This may very well work, as Maru has committed a lot of his forces. Oh, the SCVs are already pulled, realizing he's been bamboozled. They're pulled onto the high ground. The Warp Prism, he could get an interference matrix, but just enough Stalkers here. Stop position! Stop position on the SCVs. The Zealots trying to get through. Many of them getting distracted. Maru doing a great job of minimizing the damage, but his orbital may very well die, as he didn't lift it in time to prevent the damage from the Zealots. Oh, down goes the orbital. The engineering bays are vulnerable. Auto turrets on the ground, trying to take out the Prism. But only the Viking is focused on it, and the Viking can get targeted. He actually needs to kill the Viking. Well, herO does not kill the Viking, but it may be too little too late, as these Zealots have chewed their way through. And that means herO is the first one to go up to match point. Wow. Kind of a surprising exchange. But at the end of the day, that lack of... Like, he showed him just enough to give him the wrong information there. As he showed him the Stalkers, the Prism, that early Robo. And remember, earlier in the series, Maru died to the Blink all-in. So it's in the back of Maru's head. Like, okay, he's going Blink again. He's going to try Blink again. Keeps his units kind of split between his bases, and the charge lots just pounce on him. And even Maru can't react fast enough when the charge lots are already charging in by the time you see them. So herO pulls that one over on him and brings himself that much closer to winning this tournament. And once again, they've changed up the colors in order to make it a little more confusing for me. But here we go into game 6. Jimmy, please. I already told him to like and subscribe. I know. Okay, game 6. But so far going the distance, herO. What will he pull out? Which card will he pull out for us this time? Maru. The only sort of shenanigans he's tried is that singular... well, he did a Hidden Rex, and then a Proxy Rex. But nothing more dramatic than the Reaper. Another Zealot right off the bat for herO. Really relying on that early Zealot. Okay, or not. He builds it, and then he just cancels it. Will he build it again after? Because it would have delayed his Nexus. Does he build it again afterward? Thinking about it. Maru on the high ground with his command center. I think a good precaution. Even though you lose maybe a couple SCVs of production time flying over, the sense of security, a literal security against the early aggression, pays off sometimes with dividends. Maru taking a look around. herO has proxied something in more games than not this series. So I think doing your due diligence is very worth it. There's the Twilight. Yet again. What haven't we seen? Alright, we've seen a lot of Charge and Blink. Is it Dark Shrine time? Or even Glaive Adepts? Feels like herO's trying to keep Maru guessing, and so far has been quite successful at it. As the score indicates. Alright. Blink on the way. Back to the basics. Will it just be a macro blink? Whoa. Reaper gets into the main, spots the Twilight. Adept gets similar level of information. Command center, orbital on the way. Robotics facility, another gate. For herO. And landing, realizing the orbital is probably safe to land. It's going to be a Widowmine drop, so shaping up incredibly similar to the game on Dragon Scales. As it's going to be a Widowmine drop against a Blink Pressure. It's only 2-gate Blink into third this time around, it looks like. A much more macro-oriented build, so maybe we'll get to see how that would have played out. Mine drop headed out. Adept Shade spots the medevac. Not sure he was looking at that exact moment, but does get some very valuable information if he was. Yeah, the Stalkers are moving back. He's not going to miss that. He knows the timing. Right around that 420 mark. Well, the probe sniped off at the third. Quite annoying. Sends another one out. Here comes the medevac and spots the Stalkers. Don't give him any more to chew on. Oh my. Is that a duck? Pretty hardcore. Wait, what is that? Is that a bear or something? I don't know. They're feasting. They've already got a marine helmet over there. Those moopies. I don't know how many more stormtroopers are around for them to eat, but Maru not willing to give them any. Oh my god, they're everywhere. We've already been over this. How many times have we seen this map and seen them feasting? Not enough, I might argue. Well, Blink Stalkers. Only 2 of them here at the front. Maru taking the chance that... Ooh. herO hid the Stalker. Sometimes you can bait in the medevac and then jump on it before it can do too much else. Not this time, though. Ooh. Looks like an SCV. Or a Reaper. No, Reaper. Wow, it's 5.5 minutes, and it's been 1 Reaper and 1 probe has died. A lot of flirting with damage, but neither player willing to take that commitment as we draw to the more dramatic games of the series. A maximum of 2 left. Maybe just 1 if Maru makes a mistake. Or even if he doesn't and herO just outplays him, really. Well, Widowmine drop comes in. Only 2 kills. Medevac is still intact, will escape. But the Widowmine drop doesn't find much. Looks like the Stalkers may try to intercept it on the way home. Sometimes the sneakiest move you can make is going right through the center. Looks like the Blink Stalkers don't quite spot it by that much. The vision blocker there. Maru actually using a lot of the high grounds and the vision blockers. Makes it home. The observer will spot it. The hunt is unsuccessful. I'm not sure where it's going now. No, you're home. Alright. Having trouble adjusting to daily life after so much time behind enemy lines. Safety is a foreign concept to that medevac. But will finally accept its place, healing Marines and Marauders instead of dropping murderous mines out. It's a different life. Nothing else out of that. So, herO has not added anything else. No charge, no forge, just now adding immortals, just a bunch of gateway units. Really looking to shut down Maru's push here, which is shaping up to be quite strong. Though a lack of splash damage or charge lots may make things difficult here. And here comes Maru. He's on the center of the map while the Blinkstalkers head to the main, which will probably put an extra spring or stim in his step, as there's no going back to defend right now. Some charge lots coming in. Force field's looking good. And Maru, oh, the double interference matrix, though, leaves the army with just sentries and a handful of adepts. Not exactly the most damaging thing. Reinforcements popping out of the wrecks. herO may have miscalculated his ability to do damage in Maru's base and underestimated his ability to do damage in his own. Oh, Maru. So much. Terran here. Raven goes down. Shield battery overcharged, but there's not that many units left. Grinds right through it. Target fires the Immortal. And there's just not that much left behind it. Oh, Widowmine connects onto the Prism. Some of the reinforcements taken out. The War Prism is still intact, but already critical economic damage. Even without taking out the third base. He's killed 15 probes. And herO trying to battle back this Marine Marauder tank army with mostly gateway units. The interference matrices. Oh, down goes the Prism. And the reinforcements have arrived. And I think we're headed to Game 7. Ooh. Yeah, herO doesn't have nearly enough. The Bio Army, the DPS is far too high. Maru with a comfortable victory there. herO tried to feign that aggression. Didn't pan out. Ends up getting beaten back. Well, I have no idea what to expect for Game 7. But herO has tried a whole charcuterie board of mostly cheeses. Those macro builds just really don't seem to be working out. Maru exploits the weakness too well. But here we go. Game 7, the decider, the ace match. One champion will be crowned. One, after all this effort, will be disappointed. Wardy's Korean Royale will conclude in this game on Royal Blood, and you're not going to be the least bit surprised to see, in typical Maru fashion, multiple SCVs headed out onto the map. herO sends the probe scout immediately. Oh, Maru. The most predictable Maru move. He's gonna double proxy Rex in Game 7. Oh my. herO's going to scout it immediately. I guess Maru, he decides against... Wait, is he just gonna put it somewhere else? He's got one proxy Rex in the corner. Maybe he goes for the NG block? herO scouted immediately. Maybe just I don't know. Well, this time around it's herO who's scouring the map. Did he find it? Oh my god, he didn't check. He's so close. Oh no. I mean, if he sees it, is that going to help? I don't know, but he didn't check his corners. That's how they get you. Doors and corners. Well, the Game 7 proxy Rex SCV gonna get a pat on the shoulder by the repair. herO spots the NG proxy. And the bunker. Here we go again. A classic tactic. Does he not have a zealot? Oh no. He cancels the NG Bay. It's just a... he built a Reaper, and now he's building Marines behind it. Another disgusting bunker rush from Maru. But even though... he's really playing with the amount of information herO gained. Which is... he didn't see where or how many barracks there were. He just knows there was one. So herO tried to minimize the damage. But the bunker... oh no, he lost the Reaper! Oh, that's a mistake. Obviously, you don't lose the, now it's extra confusing. Well, here we are. So he lost the Reaper, which would have been a huge amount of extra annoyance. Now 2 Stalkers can easily deal with the bunker. Well. Huh. I feel like this went through a whole lot of flip-flopping in who was at an advantage. At first, it seemed like herO on scouting it has really kind of negated the value of the proxy racks. And then Maru in being able to get the bunker and force the 3rd. But then he lost the Reaper. And herO is easily able to deal with the proxy. But now herO has no units in his base, and a single Hellion is killing all his probes. So I think this one definitely has to go back into Maru's camp. But then herO comes up, there's still a probe. He really wants that Widowmine to trigger on the probe, but that gives the extra, but the repair! He's just gonna sacrifice the mine! The damage is being done! herO! Well, 9 probes died, but now a whole bunch of SCVs are gonna die, because Maru has literally no units in his base. So the boys are pulled, he can't afford to deal with another mine, he just walks in, the depot was open, come on in. And now more SCVs are gonna die. An absolute clusterfuck in the last game of the series here. And it's unclear how it ends, as Cloaked Banshees are on the way. herO can know that. That doesn't mean he can stop them. Another SCV will die. Banshee comes out. Not worth trying to kill. Recalls 2 Stalkers. Only 1 will make it. And, now what? Maru finishes his command center. He gets an orbital. It's not going to end. A Banshee's heading out. He can juke the Widowmines with the Warp Prism here easily. At a retarget, gets rid of 1 mine. Their Cloaked Banshee's on the way to the other side. Shield Battery helps to negate the damage the Banshee can do. A single Banshee is going to take quite a while to deal with that. Oh, but the Prism, he's juggling the mine, prairie dogging it, in order to prevent it from firing. But herO may very well have the damage. Oh, the Widowmine connects. The splash damage. There's 1 Marine. There's just 1 Marine. That's the entire army. The Banshee is going to work. He kills the battery first, which is actually the most efficient way to deal with it. But herO may very well have the unit count to win the game and the entire series. Look at the supply. The tank is not going to be enough. He could potentially dodge the shots. The Viking might need to hit the deck. GG! herO wins! What a roller coaster. Only one of the games, I think, going over 10 minutes. And the last game, the shortest one, as we whittle down to the maximum madness between 2 of the best players in the entire world, as they just throw haymaker after haymaker and beat the minerals out of one another. The champion of the WardiTV Korean Royale is herO, with a wide selection of curated Protoss cheese. Maru tried to match him, but he was overwhelmed in Game 7. It's all over. 7 games. 7 unique experiences. 7 chances to like and subscribe, but hopefully you take this one at the very least here at the end. Thank you for spending a significant portion of your day with me. I hope I made it a little bit better. Check out Wardy as well for all the great games for the fans. Congratulations to herO. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill. What a